Jousting. You make your way to the lists, where you are assigned a horse and a carefully padded lance. Unfortunately, when it comes your turn to compete, you promptly fall off your steed. Oh well. All the winners are announced and displayed to great cheers. As near queen, you place flower garlands around their necks. All of a sudden, a man approaches the winner's platform. It's Kavan, the Earl of Yor. In one hand, he carries an armored gauntlet, in the other, a sword. My family's blood is on your hands. What's he talking about? He casts the metal glove to the ground with a clatter and raises his sword, pointing at it. I challenge you, Elodie. A life for a life. He's challenging you to a duel? Doesn't he know you could burn him to a crisp just by waving your hand? Kill him with magic. It froze. Oh, by the way. Save game. Yes. The gauntlet thrown. Without a further word, you direct the full force of your magical wrath at the Earl of Io. There is a horrible scream and the smell of burning flesh. I decline. Kevan's sword falls to the ground beside his gauntlet. He won't be needing either anymore. Yes. Very good. Yes, let's get a bit willful. And then there's some classes. Some divination and lore. You study the interpretation of dreams, with warnings that dreams are easily forgotten, misremembered or warped by thoughts and desires rather than true vision. You study the stars and learn about the omens they hold, with warnings that the stars are seen by all, and their portent may not be meant for you. You learn that priestesses have other ways of requesting omens from the gods, but that they won't share them with someone not initiated into the mysteries. Yes, I'm a perfect divinationist. Legend has it that long ago, a horde of Yeveni on the back of tentacled monsters rode into the Valley of Mead, laying waste to all in their path. Their conquest was only halted when Lumen raised a great flood to drown the invaders. Legend says that the island domain of Malini was once a single island, instead of a cluster, until an invading Novan queen raised a terrible pillar of fire that shattered the land into pieces. And at the height of the Novan Empire, all the major dukes and duchesses were lumens. They conquered their enemies with beams of light and terrible summoned monsters. Those monsters eventually broke loose, killing their captors and destroying the old capital and Cathra Lake. The resulting chaos shook the empire. Milady, your father wishes to speak with you. He says it's urgent. Fine, I'm coming. You find your father standing over a map of the coastline, his face grave. Ships have been sighted on approach from Shanjia, not trade ships. This is a war fleet. What? Within a week, they will be in northern waters. Within 2, they could reach the capital. Then we will fight to defend ourselves. You can try to use the treasury funds to hire additional soldiers, but it may be difficult on short notice. Recruit. Fine, we'll do that. You will need to draw up a naval strategy for our ships to carry out. You could choose to act as admiral and lead the fleet in person, but the danger to you would be very great. Unless you think your personal skills will make the difference, I would strongly advise against it. Save the game. Direct the fleet. The risk is mine to take. You have your mother's heart, and her crystal. There is one more thing. I hesitate to ask, but an invasion. This is the sort of disaster for which a lumen's power may be worth the cost. If the fleet could be destroyed before they reached our waters, many lives would be saved. I don't know any magic that could sink a whole fleet. I'll have to talk to my mentor. You find the Duchess of Ursula in their guest quarters. A fleet from Shangia is attacking us. Is it possible to sink them all with magic? It is easy enough to attack one soldier, one ship, as a demonstration, but to obliterate an entire fleet, you would need an immense amount of power, spread over a larger area, more than any one lumen could control. If you try to raise that much power yourself, you would die. Not could, would. So it's hopeless. Not necessarily. The most dangerous power of Imperial Nova was that of lumens acting in concert. If the need is great and the will is true, one lumen may choose to give command over power to another. 3, perhaps 4 people working together might have the strength to destroy a fleet. You, me, and Celine. Will that be enough? It might. Are you willing to take the risk? Such power has its price. Yes. This is what I was born for. I say we do it. Then we will begin the preparations. So be it. Yes. I need to get more angry. You attend services in the Castle Grove. By the way, yes. That is the one to go. Classes. Save a new one here. See if I can get some naval strategy, unless I have it. Oh, I could need some more naval strategy, perhaps. Or possibly not, since I'm kind of going to do this all lumen style. So meditation and lore. 200 years ago, a great force of darkness covered Nova, threatening to wipe out all life in the domain. It took the self-sacrifice of the Queen and her complement of lumens to defeat that doom. Only the Duke of Ursul refused to join the defense, and therefore survived. A lumen once tried to lift the curse from an enchanted spring whose waters was poisonous and glowed green. After dispelling the magic, she tasted the waters and fell dead. The green glow was not a curse, but a spell placed by a lumen long before to warn everyone away from the spring's natural poison. Yes. A lumen may willingly surrender control of his or her magic to another. This was how the Northern Empire came to dominate the world. A growing force of lumens, focused on a single ruler, granting that king or queen immense power. You stare into a polished crystal ball and relax, letting your mind wander. You close your eyes and visualize the crystal ball floating in front of your eyes. You close your eyes and visualize a crystal ball floating through the air, moving past your eyes and into your mind, filling you with light. Danger on the high seas! You and your 2 fellow lumens join hands to focus your powers. Your magical training has paid off by allowing you to stage this attempt at a safe distance from the invading vessels of war. Far in the distance, you hear the roar of the ocean you have charmed, and it buckles beneath the incoming ships, opening up a more void into which they tumble helplessly. Then, as they fall, the water rushes back in around them, washing over decks and pummeling hulls. Even from far away, you can see the disturbance you have made rippling through the water. Some of the Shangians may survive, but their threat as an invasion has ended. Plunged into the depths. Good. Very good. Oh, are you depressed or something now? Are you lonely? No. Let's learn more about medicine then, I guess. Herbs and battlefield medicine. You learn that oil of cloves rubbed on the skin can relieve pain, particularly in teeth. Sage has a variety of health benefits. It keeps meat from spoiling, aids digestion, improves thinking, and may even help bring a color back into grey hair. Calendula flowers can be used in soothing teas as well as skin lotions. It is also said to provide visions of one's secret enemies, if worn under the light of a full moon. You learn that minor burns should be cooled, washed, and gently wrapped to keep them clean, like a cut. Major burns and scalding, such as boiling oil, are untreatable on the battlefield. You learn that soldiers should never sleep in the damp clothes or damp ground. This is unhealthy. And you learn that latrines, food waste, and burials must be kept far away from living soldiers to avoid spreading disease. Holes should be dug deep and covered after use. The magical storms you summoned created giant waves which swept inland as well as out. Damage has been reported along the shoreline from Mazumba down to northern Marie. The beaches are covered with wreck and the bodies of animals. Many fishers and cocklers are missing. Are you blaming me? Of course not. Many more lives would have been lost if the fleet had landed. What worries me is that these reports are increasing even long after the events of the battle. More than that, an observatory in Calris has seen strange shapes in the sea to the west. Something worse than a simple storm may have been unleashed. Does that mean a sea monster? What's my mood? I'm afraid again. Blah. Blah. Okay, some more faith things. Lore and meditation, I guess. Yes, should be good. You learn to visualize the space around you, so that you can see the whole room with your eyes closed. You discover that if you put yourself into the right frame of mind, your entire body begins to glow faintly. You discover that if you put yourself into the right frame of mind, you really can see with your eyes closed. Ooh. It is now believed that strong magical power attracts danger. Therefore, after the Doom Shadow was banished, the crystals of the fallen dukes and duchesses were destroyed. Only the crown and the Duchy of Ursul maintained active lumens. Well, crystals can't be destroyed, so where did you go with them? You have nothing more to learn about lore. In the Grand Hall, your father is waiting for you. Our fears have been realized. A kraken has arisen. A kraken! An enormous tentacled sea monster which can dive and surface at will. This is fast, voracious, and apparently unkillable. Any ship that ventures into its range is at risk. This could destroy Nova's shipping. What can we do? Do we just wait and hope it goes away? No. Celine, priestess of the second circle. I think that's the faith teacher thing. By the way, if I'm not completely mistaken, that thing is a satanic symbol. It's 666. You're kidding me? Quite unexpectedly, the priestess strides into the room. What are you doing here? I came to bring you records of the circle, so that you would know what you face. Left alone, the beast will feed until the seas run red, and only then will it sleep. It will cost hundreds of thousands of lives. Oh, there are only two ways to end this threat. Lumen spell weaving can freeze a kraken in its tracks, holding it motionless, but only for a short time. If the spell is renewed every moon, giving the beast no time between casting to move freely, it should eventually sleep. How long would that take? Approximately 7 years. Years! But if at any point the spell cast is too weak, or is not renewed in time, it will break loose. And the treasury would be drained keeping up such a routine. What is the other way? It is well known that eldritch beasts can be driven out by sacrifice. The life force of a lumen or potential lumen on the cusp of adulthood would be the ideal choice. No, you will not take my daughter. Well, I have another crystal that we can use. You see, Elodie, this is why I told you to reject him. They are all witches. Even without her mother's crystal, she would still have been the potential lumen. Keeping her ignorant would not have kept her safe. I will not allow this. The choice belongs to the queen. Me.